resources that are aligned to your curriculum and your instructional frameworks. In this segment, you're going to discover how to use, or not actually how to use, where are all the resources that you need to help you implement the math workshop approach. So I want to welcome you. Are my slides showing?
Not yet. They're not. No.
Okay. Well, I think there's really just one I want to point out, but it's okay. We can go from here. Okay. So I want to welcome you to enVision Math Magic. I'm Linda Cortez. I'm your partner for K-5 enVision Math, and I'm here to help you. And there are lots of ways that you can contact me. One, of course, is my email, linda.cortez@savas.com. And maybe someone can put that in the chat
Yep.
in case the slide isn't up there.
Yep. I got it for you.
Um, and you can also join me here on the Learning Channel. So I'll be presenting on here a lot with information. And then I'm going to kind of feed some of these sessions with information that I get from people who hop in on my office hours. And my office hours are going to be every Tuesday and Thursday from 3:30 to 4:30 for open Q&A. Now, I want to show you where to find resources that are going to support your math workshop approach. And specifically, we're going to include number sense routines, your inquiry, task, and share activities. Where can you find support for whole group mini lessons, for learning station activities, and where are there opportunities for students to reflect? So at this point, I want to share my screen and go live. Is that cool?
Yeah, that sounds great.
All right, so here we go. So when you log into your enVision Math, you're going to come to this homepage. And in case you ever get lost, you can, like, let's say you're over here in classes and you're like, oh my gosh, how did I get here? You can always click on Realize over here and it'll take you right back where you need to be. Now, we're going to concentrate today in the Browse area because that's where you're going to find all the resources that help you with the math workshop approach. But I'm just going to touch real closely in case you might have missed it in one of the other videos, that this is where you find information on your classes. So where you organize your students into groups, where you find their assignments and all that. And data, of course, that's where your data is going to be stored. When you assign things to students online, it collects the data and you'll be able to do some really cool things like item analysis or more grouping or more instruction. The My Library is where you're going to house your playlists, and we're going to have another session where I show you how to create a playlist that'll serve you. And let me jump over here to this right here. I'm not able to make that bigger on here, am I? Okay, but anyway, so this is your search tool, and when you click on it, you can search for specific things. If you have more than one content, if you have more than one grade level, you're going to be able to access any of the resources in there and resources outside of there. Here's where you get your notifications. Click that back up. This is a magical down drop down where you get help for the page, program training. So this would be where you go into the My Savas training and you can get on-demand tutorials and other helpful documents that will help you do specific things in the program. Technical support contact and contact for a program specialist. And then this last little drop down over here is all about you, where your settings are, announcements to you, and where you sign out. Okay, but like I said, we're going to go to this Browse tab, and notice you can click either at the top or on that little circle. And we're going to start off, I'm just going to go to second grade to start off with. All right. And as you scroll down, I want to mention that there are like 3 layers within your browse. The first layer is going to be like a broad, big picture layer. And so as you scroll down, you see you've got beginning of the year stuff, your teacher's edition, and then you get into some PD stuff for yourself. And then you have all your topics. Every once in a while, you'll see a red check mark. That's going to be a benchmark assessment. and then all the way to the bottom. And you'll see, since this is grade 2, every grade level is going to have this step up to grade, and it'll be the next grade. And then you have these cool math diagnosis and intervention system. And what I like about this is that if you have students who have gaps or are missing, or maybe the parents want something extra for students to do, you can dig into this and you're going to find a lot of practice work for the kids to do, okay? But I also want to call your attention to, remember, we're on the first level. There's three layers or levels, however you want to think about that. And new computer, weird scrolly bar. Okay, so over here, you notice you have teacher resources. When you drop down, you're going to have a whole lot of resources, and it depends on what grade level you are, what will be in here. But so if you're in grade K through 2, I think it's down below the math posters. Here it is right here. Here is where you find those number operation routines. And you open this up and you have a PDF, and just look. I mean, you can tell by how small this scroll bar is. I think you can see it, maybe not on the video. I can. It's teeny tiny. That means you're going to have a whole lot of these routines to help you. And what I like about these is they will tell you what materials you need. You'll have teaching notes, and you'll have suggested use. So this particular one says to use with lesson 1-5 and beyond. So really kind of like at the very beginning of the program, you could probably be using it now. And there's one in here I just want to show you. Okay, so you're teaching remotely and you're doing these number routines. Look at this one. This is really cool. It's just find something in your home, and they can all bring their little box of cereal to show you what the number is on there that they're using in this activity. And you could even you could put them in small groups, breakout groups, and then you pop around and help them do this activity. Or you can do it whole group and have the kids share, pick different kids, get different combinations. So awesome on these. This is where you find your number routines. Let me go back. Okay, so remember where to find those is when you first log in and you click on your content, and you get to the table of contents, first layer. It's underneath the teacher resources, about halfway down. Okay, all right, so we're going to go to, let's look at a different grade level. I'm going to pick 4th grade, and this is where we're going to go into like an actual lesson, because where you're going to find all the rest of your resources is going to be in every single lesson. So like every single lesson is going to have resources for your shared activities, your inquiry, your small group stations, learning stations, and your whole group mini lessons. So you're going to have all that stuff available to you. So I am in 4th grade now, and this is, let's go down. Okay, so I told you that there were 3 layers. So this looks very much like the 2nd grade first layer. And the way you get to the 2nd layer is you click on a topic. I'm not going to go to topic 1. You guys are probably somewhere, if you're in 4th grade, you're probably working with fractions by now. And I think that's going to be, let's go to topic 9. Okay, so topic 9 is about understanding addition and subtraction of fractions. So we're going to develop some conceptual understanding as well as fluency and application in this topic with fractions. And so you see, when you go to the topic level, you have this beginning stuff, you have all your lessons, and then at the end, you have some end of topic stuff, including an assessment. But let's go into lesson 9.3, adding fractions with like denominators. All right, so one thing you need to understand about the lessons in here is that they have 3 parts. And there's a lot of other stuff, like you have your teacher edition at the top, you have some PD, look and listen for video for yourself, you have math anytime. And then when you get to this step 1, that's where the lesson begins. Then you have a step 2. The step 1 is the problem-based learning, much like the inquiry and share. we call it solve and share. There's visual learning, and then that includes practice and problem solving, so either some guided practice and or independent practice. And then the magical step 3, this is the assess and differentiate, where you're going to have all these resources to choose from. To I'm can't having trouble scrolling here. Okay, but you have all of these um, resources. Okay, all right, so now let me see here. Let's talk about the problem-based learning. So I'm going to click on this, and I hope you can hear it. If you can't, it's no big deal. You'll see the visual of it, okay? So the solve and share in this lesson looks like this. And you'll have a little blue speaker up here that you can click on. I don't know if you'll be able to hear this or not.
Jonas is making nachos and tacos for a family party. He uses 2/5 bag of shredded cheese for the nachos and 1/5 bag for the tacos. How much of the bag of shredded cheese does Jonas use? Solve this problem any way you choose.
Okay, so there's the problem that's posed. And then the kids are going to work in little groups or with a partner. You could also have them do it on their own ahead of time and come to your synchronous session, and they've already done it and they're going to share their work. All right. But let's just look at what they have available. This is your view, but the students, it's going to look much like this, and they're going to have these tools over here to use. So like they can draw on it, they can change the thickness. All right, if they don't like it, they can erase. Okay, if they don't want to take all that time, they can just click on the trash can and delete it all. All right, there's also these kinds of things that they could use: counters, they could use the base 10 blocks. Now this probably isn't going to help on this one, so let's look and see what else is available. Shapes. Probably not. Number line? Yes. Look, we could use that 1/5 number line. And you put it up there, and then you can move it where they can move it wherever they want to. Now you could also use this for demonstration purposes. Okay. And then let's see what else we could have used. Probably not that. No. But let's look at this. Fraction bars. Yes. And there's the 1/5. So again, we can move that around. And you can use a text box if you want to label things. So you type it in there and then move it where you want. If you make a mistake, just hit the trash can on the text box, and then everything else does not go away. They could even shade in parts using the color thing. And they probably want to, like move that up so it fills in faster. Or they could just make it thin and outline the shape. Okay, so I'm going to get rid of that. Now, here's the deal. When you do these solve and shares, you're going to introduce it to the kids and just make sure they understand the problem and they know what they're supposed to do. Then you let them go to explore with it and to kind of to discuss and collaborate with each other to help build each other's prior knowledge. And while they're doing that, you're going to circulate through their breakout groups and make sure they're on task. And then also you can ask them questions when they get stuck. And the beauty of this is, I'm not going to open up the whole thing, but if I hit this drop down, up at the top is your teacher edition. And if I were to open that up, it would open up to the exact page where this is being taught. And so it's going to give you these great questions. Look for the blueprint. That's the magic there, because it's going to give you some awesome questions to ask the kids to get them unstuck. And then after everybody's worked on it, you come back and you do your share out. And if you've been really strategic while you're in there, looking at the groups, you'll know which students to call on to share and how to scaffold it. All right, so that is where you find your inquiry, task, and share. Let me see if I want to show you anything else in this lesson. Yeah, okay. So moving right along, where do you find see, there was problem 1. The visual learning is going to be like where you find your mini lessons, and it contains the visual learning, Convince Me, which is going to be like where students get to reflect. But let's look at the visual learning real quickly. So it's a video.
How can you add fractions with like denominators? Let's take a look at a couple of different ways. The table shows the results of a 4th grade Pets Club survey. What fraction of the club members chose a hamster?
Okay, I'm going to stop it there, and you'll notice that there are some breaks in the line down below where you're playing. And so those breaks are going to be automatic stops in the video where they're going to ask the kids to think, to share, to maybe answer a question. And it's also a great point for you to add to the discussion. Of course, you can stop at any time you like because you have control over here to insert your own instruction, check for understanding, any of that. Okay, so after they have done this, gone through this, there's a place for them to reflect. So here's the problem. Frank solved the problem to 12s plus 4 12s equals 6 24s. Oh my goodness, there's that common misconception that almost all students have in the beginning. What error did Frank make? Explain. You're also getting to use those math practices of critiquing the reasoning of others here. You're going to see that a lot throughout there, as well as all the other math practices, okay? So there's your reflection piece. Now, there's also going to be different ways for kids to practice, either guided or independently, within this part of the lesson. So you see you have a student edition practice. If I open that up, you'll see that that's a PDF type thing. And see, that was this little lesson right there. So you could also, like, if your video is slow that day, open this up and teach from this. That's a great tip. I hope you take that one with you. There's the Convince Me. So that was also a video format, but here it is right here. And then you have below that, come on, space, there we go. There's another example. You have some guided practice, and notice we're going to cue in on the conceptual understanding and the procedural fluency, and then your application is going to come, well, there's more fluency and skill, and here is some problem solving. So there's a modeling with math, and then there's higher order thinking, and if you go down here, you even have assessment practice, okay? So like if your technology is out that day or something is amiss, you can go here and actually teach your lesson from this thing right here. All right, and then let me go back here. There's other practice available. Anytime you see this practice buddy, that's going to be online practice. So you have independent, and then you have additional. So these are both going to be online. And what's cool about this is you can see that they're going to be answering online. So they'll check in the box. These things pop up if they need a different format to enter their answer in. And then down at the bottom, you can see that on this one, there are 12 questions. Let's say that's too many, or maybe you think you need more questions. What's great about the Practice Buddy is that you can customize it. You can make it shorter, longer. You can add different questions if you like. And what else? Oh, I forgot to tell you this. The kids will have question help up here. So if they're working on this asynchronously, then they have all these things down here to help them. They can get help solving it. It'll take them step by step. They can look at an example that's just like this problem. They can look at the animation. That's the lesson that you showed them earlier. There's a glossary. They have access to math tools, and they could print it for some reason. They probably don't want to. Okay, so the other thing I wanted to mention to you about the Practice Buddy, the online practice, is that it's going to collect data for you in your data tab. Remember we talked about this data tab? So in there, you can quickly get an itemized, an item analysis and find out where are students struggling the most and which specific students. This will help you pull in groups, and it will help you make differentiated assignments and even personalized assignments. So totally cool. All right, and now we go to And so you have all these other things. And I know I'm going fast and I'm giving you a lot, but I want you to go back in and look at these later. So now under assess and differentiate, this is where you have the things that you could use in stations, you can use for differentiated practice and differentiated instruction, small group work, independent work. So you always have this, here's a piece for reflection again, and this is the student is assessing themselves, and you have this in every single lesson where they're going to say, I need help, I'm working on it, I got it. And then there's also the language goal as well. So that's going to be in every lesson. I'm going to show you the things that are in every single lesson first, and then I'll show you some resources that vary from lesson to lesson. So you're also going to have this formative assessment, which is a quick check, and it's going to look just like the practice buddy I showed you, except it's not going to have the help tools available because you're wanting to check and see do they understand it on their own. So there's also going to be in every lesson a reteach to build understanding. Voila. So it starts off, has some vocabulary, has some very simple problems, not a lot, just enough for you to use with a small group setting, or maybe to start to kick off a lesson as review. A lot of people use these for review too. So very versatile, very versatile. What else is always in a lesson? So you also have, let me just kind of keep track of this over here. The quick check, the self-assessment, the reteach. Oh, there's always going to be enrichment. There it is right there in front of me. All right, and so this is going to be usually word problems or using the skill in a different type of application way that's a little more advanced than just the procedural practice. Okay. And some people like to use these to teach from as well versus giving them as just an assignment for students to do or to do in groups. What else do we have? We always have a take another look video. These are good for parents to watch too. I'm just going to pop it open for a second and show you it looks different than the others.
Do you know we can add fractions just like we add whole numbers? Yeah, and it's really easy if the fractions have like denominators. Like denominators, you ask? Well,
so as you can see, it's just going to play straight through. It's a very much tutorial how-to video. I recommend parents look at these to kind of refresh their memory about the math if they're helping their kids at home. And then another thing that's in every one is, I think that's it. We did them. Okay, so now what's going to vary are some other things. So let's see what we have in this lesson. Okay, so in this one we have games. All right, and games are always going to give the kids a learn button and a play button. All right, and you know, the kids have access to all the games, so do you. I'm going to show you where that is in a minute, but right now I'm going to see what else we have in this lesson to show you. There's a math literacy. So this is going to help build their vocabulary and their being able to talk about math. So here's the one that goes with this lesson. Read the problem, answer the questions, which shapes make up half of the set, and they give them this information over here. So they're going to have to do some thinking, but they interpret, they use the data, and then they should be able to answer the question. So it's kind of helping them through thinking through this kind of problem where it's not apparent at first what they should do. All right, let's see what else we have. Oh, I know what this one has. I think it has a pick a project in it. Yes. So the pick a project I really like because it allows kids to get creative with math. So sometimes kids that aren't, if math isn't their strong thing or they don't like math, these are fun for them. So, and usually there's like 3 or 4 different choices. So this one, they're going to explore recipes and they're at home, so that would be fun. Code talkers, they're going to create a code using fractions. And then this one, let's see, they're going to actually write and perform a skit. So a lot of variety there for different learning styles. Love it. Okay, so now there's other things. So I'm going to jump to another lesson and show you what you might find in another lesson. for this part. Let's just go to the next lesson. Lesson 4 has what I think I want to see. A math tools activity. Here it is right here. So when you open this up, notice it says topic 9, and if I scroll down, you'll see there's actually a lot of lessons in topic 9 that use the math tools. Lesson 9.2 we didn't look at, but it uses a geometry tool. And then this is the one I'm in, it uses a fraction tool. And if you come up here to the tools, there's the tool you need, and you can pop it open. And I don't know if you can tell or not, but that is showing in a separate window, so I can toggle between my directions and my tool. Now you'll want to play around with these tools, and you have access to these tools all the time, anytime, right? Why does that look like that? Okay, right there. And so there's the game center I talked about earlier. That's where you can access it. Here's your glossary. Here are those math tools. And if I open this up, you're going to see all the tools, but I want you to do that. I want you to go and check that out, okay? And the kids, by the way, have access to all of these, not all of these things, but they have the game center, the glossary, and the tools on their program as well. So they can get to any tool, any game, whenever they want to. So can parents by logging in to their child's account. All right, so what else did I want to show you? The math tools. Okay, we're going to jump to another lesson and see if we can find some more things. Let's look at 9.6. I think 9.6 is going to have, down here again, see, we're under step 3. Here it is, problem solving reading activity. And when you look at this, you're like, okay, it's word problems, but what does it have to do with reading? Well, if you were in the classroom, I'm clicking on tools up here, you would see this. And this is bringing up a picture of actually a tool that you have probably in your classroom. These come with the program. These are the reading mats. But since the kids are at home and you don't have a bunch of these to send out, they can look at it here virtually, and they can zoom in on that and read it. And you can see, it has some pretty interesting topics. And then the math is related to these. So it's about Olympic Day and questions about that related to the math in this specific lesson. Let's look at one more because I didn't get to the, someone hop in if I'm getting close to the time I need to be done, because I do want to finish on time here.
Yep. You've got 2 minutes left.
Okay, I'm going to show you this real quick. Okay. Where is it? Down here. Oh, my scrolly bar. I'm getting excited here. I can't get to it. There we go. Okay. There we go. The STEM activity. You have STEM activities that will connect math and science. And then there's one more really cool thing that is in every single lesson, and it's going to be under, try and get rid of that highlight there, the Math Anytime, and it's called the Today's Challenge. And what I love about this Today's Challenge is that you can use it across many days throughout what you're teaching, and there's this DIY part of it. So it starts off with this, and this is about, your diet and the fraction of what you eat. Day 1, they give you the chart, draw a picture. Now look at what happens as I move through the days. The chart stays the same, but the problems and the problem-solving skills change. Draw a picture, draw a diagram, communicate ideas, extend your thinking, and DIY, they write their own problems. So you can have kids work individually, as groups, and create their own. And then you have all these great, if they submit their work, notice they have the tools over here again, then they can submit their work and you have all these great problems to work with. Okay, so I am through sharing my screen, and I don't know how to get that off of there. Stop. Probably, right? Okay.
Yeah, that's great.
So I just want to, we went really fast. I showed you a lot of resources, and I know you have a lot of questions, So I want to make sure you reach out to me. My email is linda.cortez@savas.com. And my office hours are Tuesday, Thursday, 3:30 to 4. I'm here to help you, and I got your back.